peace of mind. Once you have it, you wonder how you ever lived without it.
I believe that their happiness began when they bought that place.
I don't think he locked his house door because he didn't have nothing to worry about.
When someone takes that peace away,
This is my land, Warren.
Some of the accusations that he had made are ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
What the heck are you doing?
you'll do anything to get it back.
You keep poking somebody, they finally break.
I laid on the pickup seat and he just cried and stared.
Nobody's lives are worth property.
They call Minnesota the land of 10,000 lakes. For a family that loves the outdoors, Warren, Marcy, and their 3 kids have certainly come to the right place.
When we first went into the house, my mom seen the view through the patio door of the house. The thing that you see is the lake view, and it was breathtaking for her, and she fell in love right then and there. Us kids were all very excited for the new lake house. We're absolutely thrilled to be there.
Oh, smile!
It's a long way from the hard scrabble life they were used to.
When I grew up, we had a dairy farm. Mom and Dad both worked full-time jobs. They would rotate back and forth with the farming along with their jobs.
Warren is a manager of a factory over the state line in Wisconsin. Marcy has a full-time job too. Running the farm on top of that made for long days, and that was hard on everyone.
I think they wanted out from the stress of it all. They thought that the best way to get a new, fresh start would be to buy a new place.
Marcy just loved that house on the lake. She just thought that was ideal.
I believe that their happiness began when they bought that place and moved there.
For Warren and Marcy, this place just felt right.
I think Mom's most important things in life were love. Family was very important for her.
The children are 16-year-old Nikki.
I was always with my dad. I was Daddy's little girl.
12-year-old Jody, the middle child.
I think she probably tested my parents the most out of any of us kids growing up, just because she was so stubborn and so strong-willed, but yet on the same hand, she was so soft.
And 10-year-old Eric, adored by everyone.
He had the most beautiful eyes, and his dad had them same kind of eyes. You know, they were just woman getters.
There was one more family member who made the move from the farm.
We're used to animals and always having dogs of our own, so it was nice to have Ben. We had a lot of late nights outside, just playing night games. Family lived next door. They had 3 kids, and their kids were all about the same age as us. We're absolutely thrilled to be there.
But these happy times didn't last.
When neighbors ended up moving, I think it was sad for all of us. There was no other kids in the neighborhood, you know, it was all older people, retired people.
The new neighbor, Paul, fits right in. Except, at 72, he's recovering from open-heart surgery. So a country house that requires upkeep seems an unlikely choice for him.
He was advised by his surgeons that he shouldn't work so hard and do the things like snow blowing and shoveling and the yard work.
But since his surgery, Paul's been stuck in an apartment in the city, and it's killing him.
I knew he wasn't going to last long in an apartment. He just wanted a lake home, and he bought it, and that's where he was moving. I think he saw this opportunity as a last chance to have something that he loved to do.
When Paul looks out the window, he sees the same spectacular view that Marcy and Warren fell in love with.
It's way up on a hill. You see the lake below and then trees in the background. It's kind of like looking off of a mountaintop.
Who could have imagined that great new beginnings would end so tragically?
Build a fence.
At first, our new neighbors get along just fine.
Howdy, neighbor. I thought you should meet all the kids. This is Nikki, Eric, Jody, and I want you to put them to work anytime, okay? Come on, kids.
When Paul first moved in, my dad had gone over and told him that if he ever needed help with anything, that he had 3 children very capable of helping him.
Paul is a one-time military man, a retired printer who loves precision and order. But Warren also sees the other side of Paul, a down-home country boy who, like him, can't get enough fresh air. He even takes the older man to his dad's farm.
Hey, Dad. Hey. How you doing?
My dad introduced him to my grandfather and, you know, tried to get him to mingle with him a little bit, just kind of, you know, maybe give him places he could go, people to interact with.
Hey, I want to introduce you to Paul.
My place next door.
Good, yeah, sure. Well, the whole, yeah, right to the tree line. That's that's the end of it.
Warren tries everything he can think of to make our new neighbor feel welcome.
There's a restaurant in town where all the old guys used to hang out and shake dice. So Dad showed him where that was and said, you know, this is the place to be from this time to this time because they're all in here shaking dice for nickels. So.
But his efforts to befriend the senior come to naught. Clearly, Paul prefers to keep to himself.
My father was a very private individual. It was just his upbringing. He enjoyed being outdoors from morning until night. And my mom would always say that she felt that he invented projects just so that he can be outdoors.
He was out pushing the lawnmower. We would go over and ask. He wanted us to do it. He never took us on the offer, so.
The 2 men are polar opposites, though one thing they both enjoy is the thrill of the hunt.
When I was 12, I went in for my firearm safety certificate and passed it, and then from that point on, I started hunting with my dad.
Oh, we're so close, honey.
I think I probably had him wrapped about as tight as I could get around my finger.
Warren loves being out on land so much, he doesn't notice when he trespasses on private property.
There were approximately 13 neighbors that had signed a petition to keep him off their land during hunting season.
But he's too strong-willed to let a few complaints stop him from doing what he wants.
What you hunting?
Mostly air.
You get any?
I didn't do so well.
First lesson is safety.
Good, she's good. Come on.
Hey, oh.
Warren, the good-time family man, and Paul, the quiet, meticulous loner.
He was very regimented, I would say. He preferred things to happen at certain times.
At Warren's house, things are a little more chaotic.
Warren always had people come over.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes as high as 3 people, the brothers. When they each have a beer or 2, they all get a little boisterous, you know, and the way they talk to each other. You thought fists would be flying, and it never once. It was just all a big party.
And we'd holler at each other. But 2 seconds later, we're just like this.
The lake is everyone's dream come true. Hard to believe it's soon to become a place of blood and horror.
My parents ended up buying a boat, and it was a 1969 Larson old-time speedboat. It had a 100-horse motor on it, and Dad thought it was just the cat's meow.
Smile.
Dad would always forget to put the plug in the boat, so every time we'd drop in the water, we'd notice water seeping in from the back of the boat. It was pretty funny.
For Paul, just getting to the water is tricky.
The hill to the lake was steep. You had to, you know, lean sideways and dig your heels in to get to the bottom of it.
Hey, Paul. Use our stairs and the dock here.
No, I'm okay, Warren. Warren, I'm fine. I'm good.
Historically, neighbors on this property had shared the stairs and dock. That's the way folks do things around here. But that isn't Paul's style.
He really liked to have his land defined. You know, this is my area, and I respect that that's your area.
It turns out Paul's a stickler for boundaries. it's caused problems before.
The past neighbors of Paul had reported that they had problems with Paul over property lines. He would contest those or would not be in agreement with the property line.
At the county surveyor's office, Paul studies the official plat book, which defines the property lines along the lakeshore. He makes a discovery that changes everything.
My dad started looking at the property lines, and he felt that it wasn't matching on the one side with the one neighbor. And when he really got to measuring it out and looking at it, it really even appeared that the neighbor's dock was actually on my father's land.
Paul quickly locates Warren and gives him news.
I want to show you these markers. These are the old property boundaries. Tell me that's your this is the property?
That property line had been there since 1953 when the property was put there. The dock was there, part of that property.
Will you move your dock? That ain't gonna happen.
Two stubborn men in a feud over land. Between our neighbors, nothing is ever the same again.
I was upset, you know, and Paul was upset.
I remember feeling genuinely concerned for his safety.
Build a fence if I have to.
And I don't think that my father's intention was to say, this is my line and you can no longer cross my line. It was to lay out, this is truly where the property lines are.
Warren and Paul were good neighbors, but now a dispute over boundaries is whipping up some bad blood between them.
Will you move your dock? That ain't gonna happen.
His neighbor became upset because he may have had some type of gentleman's agreement in the past.
Build a fence if I have to. Are you out of your mind, old man?
I think Paul had a genuine concern that if a physical fight were to ever break out, could he defend himself?
We're not moving anything, okay?
The confrontation ends in a standoff. Still, both men know the hostility is just beginning. Warren and Marcy keep up their get-togethers, while Paul quietly stews next door.
Warren mentioned the problem a little bit to me. He called me up one day to home and told me what was going on. Warren said, no, the property line was right on.
My husband tried to tell Warnie, I think you better watch him.
He wasn't a very nice person.
Hey, no worries. It's just an annoyed neighbor. Guys, we're having a party here, okay? Who wants to have a party with me?
That fall, the men avoid each other. Commuting to his job in Wisconsin keeps Warren busy. The rest of his time is spent prepping his beloved lakefront for the approaching winter.
In the fall, you have to take the dock out of the water, because then when it freezes, the ice will destroy it.
But Paul is determined to claim what he feels by right is his.
He had contacted a surveyor to survey the land to do the right thing.
The surveyor agrees with him. Warren's stairs and dock appear to be on his neighbor's land. To mark the new division, Paul starts putting in fence posts.
What the hell is he doing?
Oh, what the heck are you doing?
My dad said, I don't know anything about it. Why am I not involved? It's my property that you're taking, Paul. We'll have it surveyed, and I think we should both be present when it's done.
Just because a survey is done doesn't give anyone any property rights in the area that was surveyed. The court is going to determine that either the plaintiff or the defendant owns that property.
As far as Paul's concerned, though, there is no doubt.
This is my land, Warren.
We all share this. Everybody shares this. This is our land. Just... Yo, cool.
Warren calls the authorities, who tell him the only way to resolve things is to go to court. But that will take months and cost a lot of money. When the harsh Minnesota winter rolls in, the dispute goes into hibernation. Paul takes refuge indoors.
Cheers. Long overdue. Glad you came. It's been a long way.
Leaving Warren's kids to enjoy the snow.
In the winter, all of his kids like to go sledding and tobogganing down the hill.
And when sleds are flying, there's no controlling where they'll land, which is what happens with Eric and one of Paul's property markers.
I think Eric ended up, maybe running over a flag and going towards the bottom of the lake where the sled may have run it over.
Legally, once a marker is removed, it can only be replaced by a surveyor.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
Okay.
But you can't just put it back in the hole. You'd have to remeasure to make sure that it does line up again.
That stake is very important because it is that monument. The surveyor has to tie into monumentation in the general area to verify that that monument is what it is.
Spring brings our neighbors outside again. And that's when Paul finds the marker knocked over.
I think Paul thought that we were deliberately pulling them out of the ground, and that was never the case.
It escalated where we heard that a pin down by the lake had been pulled up, and he had to have the surveyors come back out.
It doesn't matter anymore who's right or wrong. No one is backing down. Paul is about to throw oil on the fire. Warren arrives home one day to bad news. Paul has gotten the jump on him, placing his own dock in the spot where Warren has always put his.
Get off my property.
Just take our spot. We have rights.
My father then began reacting back because now he's reacting to protect what is his.
The altercation ends in simmering fury. Consequences will be deadly.
I never had a clue that it would ever go that far.
Never take it out on my kids.
Sharing would have been a beautiful idea, For us to be kicked off of it is, I think, just absolutely absurd.
Because of the sloping shoreline, there's only one good spot for a dock on this part of the lake.
My dad, he didn't think it was fair that we wouldn't be able to use our own dock.
Paul claims land is his, and he's not interested in sharing.
And you can't just take our spot. We have rights. It's called historical usage.
Get off my property.
Who get off our property?
This drives Warren into a white-hot rage.
That's the new property line. Get off my property.
This is not your property. This your property, huh? How you like that?
He tries to fight back, calling a surveyor of his own. But to bring him out will cost more than he can afford. Paul, meanwhile, is enjoying his new dock and the boat he's found for his favorite pastime.
My dad loved being on the lake. He would definitely make time to go out and go fishing.
He also starts a home improvement project with the help of his son, Eric.
He wanted to re-roof the house. I think he was beginning to realize that most of these things he couldn't necessarily do all on his own.
Paul takes meticulous care of his property, so when he discovers little surprises on his lawn, he's infuriated.
He would run over rocks or, things that maybe he felt that were put there to just maybe make his life a little bit harder.
Look at this. Bet you those kids.
His son offers to intervene, but his independent father will have none of it.
He didn't want that burden to fall on me as well. There was no need to make me worry or pull me into it. So really his belief that certain things were dealt with on your own.
After a week of hard work, father and son finish the roof. Paul's daughter-in-law, Tara, comes by to make dinner. Again, there are more pranks. This time, dog excrement.
It seemed as if maybe the young kids were instructed to be mean by throwing things at him, rocks, dog droppings.
It'd never be anything that we would do. We would be in deep trouble.
Paul claims that every time he goes fishing, there is more harassment. Now he thinks Warren's young son is using him for target practice.
All kinds of things go through your head. Are they doing it on purpose? Are they just trying to scare him? Did they see him? Did they not see him? And what could this lead to?
I don't know what the target practice thing is about. I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense to me. My little brother had a BB gun. Some of the accusations that he had made, just ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
The complaints keep getting more serious, and now both men are getting nervous.
When Warren looked at me and he said, "George," he said, "you don't suppose wants to shoot me out here?" I said, "No, Warren. He wouldn't be that crazy." And Warren says, "I feel he's watching me with a gun."
One day gunfire does ring out over the lake. But it's Paul, not Warren, who hits the deck. The old man is terrified. He calls 911.
You start hearing stories of police needing to be called to come out. You would get the sense that things were building. You could see it.
But according to Nikki, Warren never fired on anybody.
Yes, my mom had bought him a new rifle. And I know one time he had shot it out over the lake, but it was just that time that I remember it.
Well, you want to believe that he saw him, that it was an accident. You don't know. When things were getting so bad, you don't know.
Warren's had enough of being denied the dock. He refuses to recognize Paul's claim and tells his kids to treat it as their own.
My dad believed that until things have been settled, it's still our dock. Go ahead and use it. Go fishing, go swimming, do what you need to do.
No surprise, this doesn't sit well with our neighbor.
Hey! Get off of the dock.
Yelling and cussing and swearing to get off of his property and to stop throwing rocks in the water.
In the land of 10,000 lakes, a dispute over property is spinning out of control.
Hear this, everybody. You can't just take our spot.
Warren was real protective about his kids. And if the kids had it coming, Warren was going to, not somebody else.
Never take it out on my kids.
Dad had telling Paul, we will take it to court and we will have it settled legally. One way or another, this has got to come to an end.
Paul decides to beat Warren to the punch. He calls on authority to learn exactly what his legal rights are.
I'd like to help you, but this is really a civil matter, and my suggestion is to go get yourself a good lawyer.
For a $3,000 retainer, the lawyer launches a civil suit and sends his own surveyors to take new measurements.
What are you doing? I think my husband should be here.
The day of June 20th, a mom had taken off work that day. I had to have my wisdom teeth cut out.
Marcy calls Warren, who heads straight home. For him, this is the last straw.
And my dad said, nothing's getting moved until I see with my own eyes where this property line is going to be.
This is... Surveyors are here, because I requested.
Yeah? I never touched your stake.
Somebody did. That's $300.
Yeah?
Well, what you gonna do about it?
Paul threatens to summon police if Warren removes one more stake.
It just got to the point where my father just didn't have any more answers. After trying to resolve it by talking to the neighbor, there was no more solutions.
16-year-old Nikki can't deal with the tension. She wants to go into town.
You going to it? So I was invited to a baseball game. And when I asked Mom if I could go, she said, absolutely not, no way. She said, you're on narcotics, you're on pain medication.
But as usual, her dad can't say no. At home, Eric and Jody can't resist going back to the dock. It brings Paul's blood to a boil.
Hey! Get off of my dock! Come on, get out of here!
My brother and sister crying and saying, you know, he was yelling at them to get off of his dock and to stay away from it.
Warren drops Nikki in town, her face still swollen from her wisdom teeth extraction that morning.
Hey, what are you laughing at? So funny. He's like, he goes, sweetie, he said, I can't help it. He said, but you look so funny. I remember him looking at me and saying, if there is anything in the world that I could do to take your pain away, I would do it in an instant.
I love you so much, sweetheart.
I said, I know you do. I love you too.
If only time could have stopped right then.
Have fun. Hey.
Somebody was possibly dead, or somebody was dying.
For exclusive footage, go to investigationdiscovery.com.
On June 20th, 1996, the local deputy sheriff was called by Paul.
When the deputy arrives, Paul lays out his complaint.
Sheriff, thanks for coming.
The deputy sheriff reported that Paul had told him about the children being on the dock and that he was worried about it because of liability purposes. He also showed on the deputy what was the surveyed property line and the fact that the next door neighbor, Warren, had removed a stake that was placed there by the survey crew.
I'll let you know.
The deputy told Paul that he would do what he could to help resolve the issue of the children being on the dock.
Warren returns from dropping off Nikki. The deputy asks if he and his family have been deliberately provoking Paul.
My boy cry. And that is something I can't put up with.
My dad said no. He said, there's an issue with this property line. It'll get handled legally like it's supposed to.
Warren took the deputy down also to show his perspective of where the property line, where he believed it to be.
Despite the conflict, the deputy notes that both neighbors are calm and reasonable.
The deputy did ask if they could keep the children off the dock until the matter could be resolved in court, and Warren's family did agree to that.
Just let the courts handle this situation, all right? You get yourself a lawyer and let them talk, let them deal with it, all right?
Yes, okay, thank you.
A good night.
Well, Sheriff, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It seems like crisis has been diffused.
The deputies felt that things were calmed down, and both parties indicated they did not seem upset at the time. The deputy then left that area, continued during his evening of patrol.
Paul retreats indoors and returns to planning a long-awaited fishing trip.
He had been reminiscing through this photo book.
But his reverie is suddenly shattered. What happens next is not fully known.
There was a very short period of time from when the deputy left, roughly 11 minutes. We aren't sure exactly what transpired during that period of time.
What a great time! Like party! I speculate that the neighbor must have still been upset. Didn't feel that there was proper resolution. And was most likely outside yelling, hollering, perhaps calling my father names.
Whatever transpired, it pushed Paul over the edge.
You keep poking somebody, you keep poking them, and it doesn't matter how calm and reserved they are. You keep pushing and pushing and poking to that point where they finally break.
I know my father-in-law would have never hurt somebody. You have to think What happened? What did he do? What did they both do?
And it just got to the point where my father just didn't have any more answers.
Never take it out on my kids.
For all of us, what followed continue to live in our nightmares to this day.
Paul had left his home with a .25 caliber semi-automatic pistol and returned back to Warren's residence.
Minutes later, neighbors are calling 911 with reports of multiple gunshots on Warren's property. Nikki's cousin Tam picks up the news on the local police scanner and tracks Nikki down.
Nikki, she said, I heard over the scanner that there's been a family of 5 shot. And it was your address. She said, is everybody okay? And I said, yeah, Tam. I said, I just left home.
Nikki tries to call several times, but the line is dead. They arrive at a chaotic scene.
I remember getting out of the car and I was gonna run to the house. And I got stopped and I got approached by, I don't know if it was a sheriff or an investigator. They said that I needed to go to the hospital. They had advised me that when I got to the hospital that I needed to contact a priest. So I knew that somebody was possibly dead or somebody was dying. I wasn't sure. I got back in the car with Tammy and we drove to the hospital.
Nikki is frantic with fear and dread, but still can't imagine the horror of what's befallen her family.
When I was in the hospital, I was put into a waiting room. My hopes were that one person had maybe been hurt.
The full story is almost beyond comprehension. As police tell it, violence exploded on the lake just moments after the deputy left.
The deputy sheriff, approximately 11 minutes after leaving the 2 neighbors, received a call to return back to Warren's residence and Paul's residence as there had been a shooting reported. At the time when the deputy got to scene, he proceeded very cautiously onto Warren's property and up around his house where they noticed the first bodies, that of Warren and his daughter, on the patio area.
Miraculously, Odie was still alive, but paramedics couldn't get to her.
We pulled up to the scene and I jumped out of the rig. I had the jump box with me and I'm running up to the house and one of the officers hollered at me, "Rick, get behind a tree. There's been a shooting. We don't know how many people are involved."
He was the last one alive.
We know there's 2 or 3 down, and the shooters were working up to get to the shooter.
At Warren and Marcy's lakefront home, neighbor Paul has gone on a killing spree. First responders are scrambling to figure out what happened.
They had the shooter, he had shot himself, and he had the weapon, but he was still alive. And one of the sheriffs hollered, "When do you guys get over here?" So I immediately went over to the neighbor, and we started working on the neighbor.
12-year-old Jody is the last surviving victim, fighting for her life, while Nikki tries to grasp the scope of the tragedy.
It was kind of like, I was outside of myself. And it wasn't registering, really.
As her sister's life hangs by a thread, Nikki learns what her neighbor has done.
Apparently, Paul had shot my dad in the back of the head. When my little sister saw what had happened, he turned and shot her. My little sister, as stubborn as she was, somehow survived 3 bullet wounds to the chest and was still fighting for every breath. My mom is already on the phone trying to dial 911, and he shot her.
Paul ran out of ammunition for the .25 caliber pistol. He returned back to his residence.
My little brother grabbed the phone to talk to 911.
Shot your parents? Where do you live? What's your address? My sister, my mom, my dad. Okay, what's your name? Eric?
At that time, the 911 system was not as we know it now, that you had to actually give them a physical address and tell them exactly where you lived.
Eric didn't know his street address. The dispatcher didn't know where to send help. Our neighbor Frank had also called 911.
Well, Frank was on the phone with the 911 operator. He also observed a man walking from Warren's house in the direction of Paul's house. Back at his house, Paul called his ex-wife.
He made that phone call. She needs to come now.
You need to come.
Meanwhile, little Eric was still struggling to explain his location to the dispatcher.
When you come to your house, you must have a different address than that.
His life now depended on finding a piece of mail.
They said, Eric, we need you to stay on the line. We need to know where you're located. Why didn't they tell him, you need to go hide somewhere?
Based on what Paul did next, hiding would have been a good idea.
Paul obtained a semi-automatic .20 caliber rifle.
He's carrying a rifle. He's got a rifle.
Frank also saw that what he believed to be the same person returned back to Warren's residence with a long gun. Frank reported that after the same person turned the rifle on the dog and shot the dog, and that he fired it twice more into the bodies that he had earlier shot.
He's shooting again.
But Paul still wasn't done.
Eric.
He ripped the phone line out of the wall while my little brother was on the phone with dispatch. He was the last one alive. He had already witnessed everybody being shot. I can't imagine his fear. I can't fathom how scared he was. My mom and little brother, they had died in the stairs.
All efforts to save Jody fail. Nikki is the only one of her family left alive.
And I remember after I identified Jody, walking down the hospital hallway and seeing Paul in a hospital bed. And I found out later that he had committed suicide after he had done it.
It appears to authorities that 11-year-old Eric was the last victim. The boy was found in the house alongside his mother.
Lauren and his daughter laying on the ground there, and I knew that this thing had finally come to a head.
Paul's son and his wife rushed to the hospital.
And we got to say goodbye to him. There was just a large gathering, the other family. It felt kind of like guilt is on us.
But this isn't how Nikki sees things.
I don't hold any anger towards them. They're just as innocent as I am.
Hundreds of us came to the funeral.
I couldn't have asked for I need more support. It was huge.
I've never seen so many people gathered in one place in my whole life. To see 4 coffins in a row of one family, I don't ever want to have to go through that again.
He was real happy, and they lived by the lake, and they really loved that place, and it was something I guess they were looking for all their life.
Paul's service was a much more intimate gathering.
We had a small service on the chain of lakes that he lived on. Nobody's lives are worth property. I have to believe that this situation did not need to get to where it did.
For our community, Paul's deadly rampage is still a mystery. We buried 5 neighbors that week, but none of us can answer the most obvious question. Why did Paul do it?
Everybody has in line, something had to have happened that set him off to the point that he fired that first shot.
For Nikki, there are no answers either.
If I could talk to Paul, I don't even know what I would say to him. How you can allow yourself to become that bitter and that angry over something that, like property, it's beyond me.
Years after the murders, she moves back to her family home by the lake.
You know, I can go to the cemetery and, you know, they're buried there, but they're not there. They're at home. And that's where I want to be. I think it's my safety zone. I'm guarded by 4 guardian angels. I need to be strong. I don't have a choice. I still have to carry on with life. I still have to, you know, I still have to live.